Comics Recapped here. Today I'm going to explain a comic called The Death of Doctor Strange. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. Dr. Stephen Strange has always been fascinated by the story of Cochet, the Deathless. Dr. Strange always believed that he could do what Cochet did in the legend. Cochet cheated death by removing his soul and hiding it. As long as nothing terrible happens to his soul, Cochet will remain immortal, as the legend says. Dr. Strange was awoken by his ghost dog, Bat, who wanted Dr. Strange to take a walk with him. Dr. Strange obliged. He got up from bed and got himself ready. While heading out, Stephen saw Wong making breakfast. He asked for his usual coffee and was on his way to walk with Bat. After a bit of chit-chat during his stroll with Bat, Dr. Strange was back being a surgeon and made his way into his first surgery in 10 years. As the Sorcerer Supreme, Stephen has always considered the world as his patient. Stephen hears a scream from afar. He rushes to it and sees a man being confronted by two police officers with their guns drawn. The man just kept screaming. "I've got this," Dr. Strange told the police officers. Dr. Strange asks the man what's bothering him. The man says, "Cinnabus," while continuing to scream. Dr. Strange immediately knew the problem. This man had connected with the 7 sons of Cinnabus, a dimension in the Celestial Concordance. This was the cause of his distress. Dr. Strange immediately used his magic to sever the link between the man and Cinnabus. Once the connection was severed, the man felt immediate relief. Shortly after that, Stephen made his way to Strange Academy in New Orleans. There, he held a class and taught students about what it's like being the Sorcerer Supreme. Dr. Strange emphasized that being Sorcerer Supreme, you will have access to powers only you can wield, but with great power comes great responsibility. Dr. Strange lectured students about how a Sorcerer Supreme is part of the planet's natural defense, meaning he is to maintain the barriers that separates our dimension from outer planes. Dr. Strange ended the class there and proceeded to head out of the classroom. Doyle, one of the students, chased after him in distress. Doyle explains that he was feeling uneasy, that something was happening in the outer planes. But before Dr. Strange could answer, he left Doyle. Stephen immediately went to another dimension in Limbo to answer a call help from Illyana, the Sorcerer Supreme of that dimension. Demons were attacking Limbo. Dr. Strange and Illyana managed to suppress the attack and restrain one demon. Dr. Strange asked the demon why they were attacking. The demon simply answered they must offer Earth children so that they would be spared. Wasting no time, Illyana dumped all the demons in a pit and was sealed by Dr. Strange. That evening, Stephen was sitting alone in his living room when he heard a knock on his door. Annoyed, Stephen got up and went to answer the door. When the door opened, Stephen was pinned to his wall by magic. He was then beaten, removed his arms, and stabbed straight in the chest. When this happened, those closest to Stephen immediately felt that something was wrong. Wong, Bat, Dr. Voodoo, and Zelma Stanton rushed to Stephen, but it was too late. He was already dead. The 4 of them grieved. Modor and his right-hand Caecilius appeared. Modor was known for wanting to kill Stephen. As such, Wong immediately tried to jump him but was stopped by Caecilius. Wong alleged that Modor was the one responsible for Stephen's death. Modor denied the accusation, saying that he was even angry that Stephen's murder was not by his hands. Through the commotion, Captain America called. He was looking for Dr. Strange, stating that the barrier had been broken. Different warlords from other dimensions started entering Earth. The Purple Dimension, led by Sorcerer Supreme Agamon, was in the Gobi Desert, while the 6th Dimension, led by Sorcerer Supreme Tiboro, was in Peru. Umar occupied Antarctica, and Kulamesh Dimension, headed by Dagoth, was in England. Suddenly, a bright light appeared in the corner of the room, and to everybody's surprise, Dr. Strange emerged. Everybody was in shock, as they could also see Dr. Strange's lifeless body on the ground. The Dr. Strange that just appeared explains that he was a past version of Dr. Strange. He supposedly imitated the legend of Cochet the Deathless. Dr. Strange had traded away 1 week of his lifespan so that he would be resurrected for 1 week if he was killed. Dr. Strange said his purpose was to solve his own murder. He was surprised to see Modor in the room along with Caecilius. Dr. Strange mocked Caecilius' appearance, saying he looked awful. Caecilius blamed Dr. Strange for banishing him in the Purple Dimension that his appearance turned out this way. Captain America, who was still on the call, disrupted their conversation. Dr. Strange took the call and explained the situation to Captain America. Dr. Strange found it strange that none of the warlords had laid siege on Earth despite the broken barrier. But before he could think, Stephen heard Clea's voice asking for help. He followed it outside, and Clea, the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension, fell into his arms. Clea immediately knew that this was not her husband holding her. Wong entered the scene and asked Clea why the other warlords were invading Earth. Clea grabbed Wong and told him the warlords were fleeing into Earth and not invading. She explains that the warlords, including herself, were being hunted by the Three Mothers. The Three Mothers, the Weird, the Crown, and the Crawling were warriors who came beyond the outer plane and were bent on annihilation. Their purpose was to capture powerful magicians and feed them to their peregrine child. This child had an appetite that could never be satisfied, as it hungers for magic constantly. Suddenly, the Three Mothers appeared before them. The Three Mothers looked at Clea and Doctor Strange as if they were food. Doctor Strange told the Three Mothers to leave as Clea was now under his protection. The Three Mothers laughed, saying they already had killed thousands of magi, and Doctor Strange would be no different. The Three Mothers lunged toward Doctor Strange and Clea, preparing to attack them. "Avengers, assemble!" In the nick of time, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain Marvel appeared to join Doctor Strange in battle. The battle was intense, and the Avengers gave them all they could handle. Thor faced against the Crown while Iron Man, Captain America, and Captain Marvel squared off against the Weird and the Crawling. Thor used Mjolnir, the most powerful weapon in Asgard, to strike the Crown, but she did not budge. "You must be a godling. Delicious," said the Crown. The Crown went on a counterattack and smashed Thor, throwing him to the ground. Iron Man and Captain Marvel used rockets and laser beams against the Crawling and the Weird. The Weird blocked all their attacks using magic, and the Crawling transformed her arms into hundreds of laser-firing nozzles. The Crawling's attacks were a direct hit, and it sent Iron Man and Captain Marvel flying. Captain America tried to assist them, but the Weird used her magic and pinned him to the ground. The Weird also took Captain Marvel using her left hand and started to choke her, while the Crawling was subduing Iron Man using her expanding arms. The Three Mothers proved to be way stronger. While fighting, the Crown asked the Weird to search the Earth for a source of magic that their child could feast on. The Weird obliged and told her that there was such a magic source and that they should go to it immediately. The Three Mothers stopped fighting and went to the magic source, which was Sorcerer Supreme Dagoth, to capture him and feed him to their child. The Avengers were left on the battlefield battered and defeated. The Avengers decided to regroup and head to Avengers Mountain in the North Pole. The Avenger held a meeting to strategize and learn more about their opponent, while Doctor Strange was to examine his own dead body to get clues on how he died and who killed him. After the autopsy, Doctor Strange determined that what happened to him was not only murder, but also theft, since he had lost both his arms and his soul. With those stolen, the power of the Sorcerer Supreme was gone, and if not returned, there would be no new Sorcerer Supreme. Clea reiterated that the warlords were here to take shelter on Earth since it was the safest place for them to hide, because of the presence of the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four. But without the power of the Sorcerer Supreme, it would be difficult to bring the warlords back to their dimensions, let alone defeat the Three Mothers. Clea added that since the warlords are on Earth, the peregrine child would surely attack Earth. Doctor Strange told Clea to help him locate the Eye of Agamotto and Cloak of Levitation. Clea agreed, and they both headed to the Sanctum Santorum in New York. Clea summoned Flibert Gibbet, a spirit, to circle the globe and find Doctor Strange's items. While alone, Clea opened up to Stephen about how she was hurt when he made her forget about him. Stephen erased all of Clea's memories of him as payment to the devil for helping rebuild the universe. When Stephen died, all of his memories rushed back inside Clea's mind, which made her suffer even more. Doctor Strange felt terrible. He told Clea that he had lived as a fool since he lost her heart. Clea looked at Stephen, leaned on him, and they kissed. Suddenly, the Flibert Gibbet returned and told them it had found the Eye of Agamotto and Cloak of Levitation. The two items were in Modor's castle. Enraged, Doctor Strange headed to Transylvania. He bursts through the gates, beats up the guards, and goes straight to Modor's room. Doctor Strange confronts Modor. Modor denies any involvement in his death, insisting that he is being framed. Doctor Strange did not believe him. Modor returned the items and told Doctor Strange that if he had truly killed him, he would gloat about it, not deny it. Doctor Strange finally believes him. Meanwhile, the Three Mothers arrived at Calomesh in England. They ravaged everything in their path. They quickly made their way to Dagoth. Dagoth was toppled by the Three Mothers. He was outmatched completely. The Three Mothers captured Dagoth and immediately fed him to the peregrine child. Later, back in Sanctum Santorum, a frustrated Doctor Strange was thinking about what their next move should be. Time was not on their side since the Three Mothers could come for them at any moment. Adding to Doctor Strange's frustration was the fact that he had no leads on who killed him. Mordor was a dead end. Bat noticed and asked Doctor Strange if he wanted to take a walk to clear his head. Doctor Strange obliged. During their walk, Bat suggested that Doctor Strange should look from a different angle in trying to figure out who killed him. Bat says that instead of trying to figure out who hates him the most, Doctor Strange should figure out who hates both him and Mordor, since Mordor was framed. The killer was probably trying to hit two birds with one stone. Doctor Strange suddenly ran and told Bat he had a lead. Doctor Strange went to Wong and Clea. Doctor Strange instructed Clea to invite all warlords, along with Mordor and Caecilius, to be in one venue for a meeting. He then instructed Wong to gather all the magicians willing to help him and to have them make a spell to ensure that everybody present in the meeting could not leave the venue once they had entered. In addition, Doctor Strange told Wong to have the Avengers and the X-Men ready and to have them intervene on his mark. Wong and Clea agreed, and they left to do their task. The venue was in Antarctica, inside the domain of the warlord Umar. Doctor Strange entered the castle with everyone anticipating his arrival. Without wasting any moment, Doctor Strange told everyone who he thought the murderer was. Doctor Strange pointed to Caecilius. "It was you!" Doctor Strange shouted. Doctor Strange explained that he had banished Caecilius to the Purple Dimension, where he had suffered. That made Caecilius detest Doctor Strange. But since Caecilius was not rescued by his master, whom he served for years with his blood, sweat, and tears, he would have felt betrayed. This would have prompted Caecilius to plot his revenge against Doctor Strange and Mordor. "Yes, it was me," Caecilius proclaimed while removing his coat. Caecilius then showed everybody his arms. It was Doctor Strange's arms. He had attached it to himself. Caecilius planned to kill Mordor and Doctor Strange using the power of the Sorcerer Supreme. Caecilius raised his arms attempting to use their power, when suddenly he felt immense pain in it. Doctor Strange had cast a spell on the arms. This was a regenerating spell that Caecilius was not prepared against. This spell would reconstruct Caecilius and regenerate, bringing back the original Doctor Strange. But it was not time to celebrate. Outside the castle, the three mothers and the peregrine child had arrived. The Avengers and the X-Men already engaged them in combat. In a panic, the warlords tried to get out of the Umar's castle to escape the three mothers, but to no avail. The spell Wong cast was already in effect. The original Doctor Strange instructed everybody on what they would do to defeat their opponent. The 5 Sorcerers Supreme from each dimension must work together and cast a spell powerful enough to seal the three mothers along with their peregrine child. The warlords agreed. Doctor Strange ran outside the castle and immediately cast the spell along with the other warlords. The battle was frantic. The Avengers and the X-Men were trying to buy them time to finish their spell. It was working. The three mothers were slowly being sealed in the spell. In a panic, the Crown yelled to the peregrine child to help them. The peregrine child responded and attempted to move toward the older Doctor Strange and the other warlords. But before he could reach them, the ghost of the younger Doctor Strange flew towards the peregrine child, but it was caught and the child immediately ate it. Inside the peregrine child's stomach, the ghost of the younger Doctor Strange let out an electric surge that ran through the child's innards all the way to its entire body. This shock made the peregrine child immobile. This opening gave the warlords enough time to cast their spell and completely banish the three mothers and the peregrine child. The fight was over. The Avengers, along with the X-Men and the warlords, had won. When the dust settled, the original Doctor Strange approached Clea. He told Clea he was a fool for letting her go. Clea, in tears, said to him that she would not allow him to leave her again. But the original Doctor Strange could not escape death that easily, so they must part ways once again. The original Doctor Strange bestowed upon Clea his powers, along with the Eye of Agamotto and the Cloak of Levitation. With one last kiss, the original Doctor Strange vanished into thin air. He was gone, and Clea became the new Sorcerer Supreme of Earth.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.